So, the question, are we past our peaks? Well, here's life on earth. We're conceived, and that's when life begins. Then we're born, and we go through different stages of growth. And notice how it starts by we're moving up. And we're developing, we're getting stronger, and we're getting bigger, and hopefully we're getting smarter as we learn new things. But you notice that I've got a peak there. And then the peak we start coming down from it, meaning that there is in this life, if you live to be, let's say if you live to be 90 years old, okay? And some of us are closer to that than others. Earl's just 5 years and a month away from it, okay? So, but we would say at some point, maybe physically I was at my best in my 20s, maybe mid-20s, late 20s. Hadn't felt a lot of deterioration till I got in my early 30s. And then I became an insulin-dependent diabetic. And then this happened, that happened, and I've got different things. And I got TMJ, and I've got these different things. And we could all, go through our lists of different things. But when we were younger, most of us didn't have those things. Now, younger people can have those things, and sometimes do, and other things as well, cancer, migraines, whatever it might be. But most of us would say that there was a time, most of us who are older would say, there was a time where I kind of reached my peak and I'm on the other side of it now, physically, maybe mentally. Are things maybe harder to remember? Maybe there are, certain types of things. But notice that that's all just in that first phase, life on earth. What happens at death? We die and we go to be, if we're Christians, covered by the blood of Christ, we die to go to be with Jesus. Now you'll notice that I use here the term intermediate heaven. The reason I do is because it's an actual term that theologians use. But when they talk about the intermediate heaven, they mean between the time you lived on earth and you die, between your death and the resurrection. That's what they mean by intermediate heaven. I use that term, I use it a little bit in the revised and updated heaven book, but most of the terminology I changed completely from intermediate to the present heaven. And I did that for a reason, even though intermediate is the technical theological term, because I got all sorts of people that when they heard intermediate, they thought, well, it's like halfway between heaven and hell, or like, is it purgatory? Or is, no, don't get thrown by intermediate. It just means between death and resurrection. That's all it means, okay? But I think present heaven maybe works better. So just present heaven, heaven where it is now, where you go when you die.